Peace. Good morning, Grand Rising, and welcome to day 13. Day 13 of this 60-day journey to healing, transformation, and self-discovery. A 60-day journey. So we are not even at the halfway mark, but that's okay. This is not a marathon or a sprint. This is how life's. And I'm so glad that you're still here with me. If this is your first time here, no worries. All of these videos are up on YouTube. You can do a Netflix cram because they're only 12 to 15 minutes each. Catch up. You can get this Hero's Journal at shopurbanx.com. If you want the official journal, comes with a beautiful bag. It comes with a pen, some Post-its. It comes with some bookmarks, and it comes with plenty of love and inspiration. Okay? And so that's what we're talking about on this Friday. You know what I'm saying? The end of the work week. An opportunity to complete some projects, get some things done before we so-called let our hair down and relax and get to other things that need to get done. There's always something that needs to be done. And we have to start carving out just time for ourselves to meditate, reflect, relax, and do nothing. Now I understand what elderly people, when they just sitting around relaxing, I truly get it now. You know what I mean? Because they just they put in the work. And now they just want to relax and be easy going. And so today's affirmation, today's word, today's motivational word of the day is a turning point. So now we're talking about pivoting. We're talking about a shift. We're talking about something that happened that maybe turned the light on inside of you or dimmed the light. Or life was good until this happened, this turning point. Were you molested? Were you abused? Were you attacked? Did you not get a job you thought you would get? Did your father say he was going to the store and didn't come back? I'm just throwing certain things out there that could be turning points in your life, which changed the way you see the world, which has affected you to this point in your life. Everything is everything. And everything is connected, whether we want to admit it or not. So along this pacing ourselves and reflecting on self, we're gonna uncover, recover, and rediscover a lot of things that we go, oh wow, I forgot about that, but that was critical because this happened. Sometimes it's shifting from junior high school to high school. That's a turning point because you now have freedoms in high school that you didn't have, because I know I did. I was like, wait a minute, the whole class is not now traveling together, and if I don't want to go to that class, I don't have to change my world. And so when we speak of turning points, it could be anything and everything. All right? Sometimes life shifts in a single moment. What event changed the direction of your life, as I just asked? Think about it as you sit down and you get ready to write in your journal. I honor my turning points. They made me who I am becoming. And so I am who I am because of all of the turning points and all of the shifts. They weren't all good. Some of them was extremely traumatic, but because I survived them, I learned from them, and then I used them to my advantage to say, okay, here we go, and I'll be better for it. What moment marked a before and after in your story? Right? Before this, I was that way, but after, I was that way. And it could be positive or perceived as something negative. I don't really like to say negative per se, because we're just talking about life's lessons. Was it chosen or forced upon you? Did you make that shift? Did you make that change? I'm going to stop getting high. At 21 years old, I made a choice to stop drinking. Now, I know that sounds crazy because I wasn't legally able to drink until I turned 21. But I had done so much drugs and alcohol and cocaine and mescaline and PCP and angel dust as a kid that by the time I got 21, I was tired. And so the turning point, in conjunction with my son, Marcus, my oldest son, who wasn't my biological son, but he started watching everything I was doing, those became the turning points for me to clean myself up. Now, eventually, later on, I'll have a casual drink, but I'm not a drinker like that. I do no drugs or any of that kind of stuff to this day, unless I'm on some kind of spiritual, some ayahuasca or some shrooms or something for a different reason that we'll talk about at another time. All right? How did that moment invite transformation, even if it hurt? All right? And so every hero's story has a breaking point that becomes a breakthrough. Go watch any movie. There's a breaking point where the hero seems down, the villain seems to be getting the best of them, and then there's a breakthrough. Trust that your turning point is also your doorway forward. Okay? Trust that your turning point is your doorway forward. All right? And so, as we continue to break this down, every story has a hinge, a moment when everything pivots. Sometimes we see it coming. Sometimes we only recognize it in hindsight. And that's what I mean by when we start reflecting, some of us can go right to that moment. Oh, I remember that moment. I wasn't the same after this. Or I remember that moment when I really had to grow up, when I realized this. And some of us, it was subtle. You look back and go, wow, I'm not who I used to be. And it must have been when this happened or that happened. And so that's what this self-reflection is all about. What event changed the direction of your life? What event changed the direction of your life? I have so many in my life that just changed it. When my mother at 16 told me, you're on your own, this apartment now belongs to you. The rent, the Con Ed, the cable, or whatever the case may be, wasn't really no cable at that time, but Con Edison and the rent and the food is now you and your best friend Chill's responsibility. Good luck, okay? And so while other children were still living with their parents, me and my best friend Chill, we had real bills to pay. We had to go to work and we were still going to school. And so that's just one moment that really accelerated growing up. Now, prior to that, I had already been through a series of events that forced me to grow up. But my brother Chill came from a two-family household. He had a mom and a dad. And when his mom's suddenly passed away, him and his father got at odds a little bit. You'll read it in the book. And he moved in with me. And he wasn't accustomed to the conditions that I lived under. But he learned fast. And when moms left, he really grew up really, really fast. You know what I mean? And so I honor my turning points. They made me who I am becoming. Every story, like I said, maybe it was a heartbreak, a diagnosis, a decision, a chance encounter, right? A diagnosis. You was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, 4 cancer. And at that moment, your whole life flashed in front of you. And you didn't think you would make it. And then life became serious for you. And I speak about this in my book because once I was diagnosed with kidney failure, and they gave me what the averages is if you don't get a kidney at this time, things of that nature, everything in my life shifted. Everything changed in my life. And so the message I try to deliver is do not wait until you get that terminal, so-called terminal message to start appreciating life. Because at that point, sometimes it's a bit late, but it could have been a heartbreak. It could have been any of that stuff. These turning points can feel like collapses, but they are also invitations. Ask yourself, what ended in that moment? What began, even if I couldn't see it then? Because, like I said, we become a prisoner of our own fears and things, and we think something is going to end, and it's usually ending for a reason, and another door opens. If you've ever been in a relationship with someone that you thought was going to last forever, and then when it didn't, and you had to ball up in that blanket and sweat that out and cry and go through that fire, and on the other end of that is joy and happiness again. But you couldn't tell me at that moment at 18 years old, or I think it was 16, when my first real girlfriend, broke up with me. Man, I thought the world was going to end. I thought it was over. And so we have those moments in our lives, right? And so growth often hides inside of endings. And then when you reflect, or your boy is going through it, and then you don't see him for 6 months, and then 6 months later you see him and he looked better than ever. He got through it. He's thanking you for holding him down, or whatever the case may be, As you write today, honor those crossroads. Thank the version of you who stood there trembling and still moved forward. They began the transformation you're continuing now. You know what I mean? And on the closing arguments, or the closing statement, I like to say is, your turning points didn't break your path, they built it. Every ending was a doorway to your next beginning, right? Amen? And so when one door closes, another door opens. At that lowest point, and this too shall pass. You know what I'm saying? My wife is famous for saying that to me when, things get low. And this too shall pass. At the end of that tunnel, there's light at the end of that tunnel. You know all the sayings, you know what it is. And it's just that at our darkest moments at times, we feel like this is it. And it's never it. As long as I can breathe, and as long as there's air in my lungs, and I can put air in my lungs, I'm going to fight this thing. I'm going to enjoy this thing. I'm going to embrace this thing called life. And I'm going to wring out the rag until there's nothing else in it. And I want you to do the same. But I do follow the principles of live, learn, laugh, and love. I love you. I hope you love yourself. And I can't wait until tomorrow we're on, because also that's when we meet. And, in a Zoom meeting for the members only, and we can get in and we can discuss some of these things personally. If you want to become a member, go to urbanx.nyc. It's just $20 a month, and you can cancel at any time. Okay, so just wanted to share that with you. Peace.